What if we just turn the cameras off and just kiss? Like, what if we do that instead?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Roll the Credits, the podcast. I couldn't really think of something for a red herring for this. Like the only podcast that
wasn't who you wanted it to be.
Yeah, I guess the only podcast that you clicked on by mistake.
Yeah. Oh, we thought this was a Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac episode.
I'm Frank.
I'm Zach.
And today we are talking about red herrings. A little bit different than like a plot twist.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting there and I'm thinking about it, and I was having sort of a hard time deliberating, like, is this a red herring or is this a plot twist? Like, what's the difference here, and like, where does that line get drawn?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to kind of see like where you went with it, and to see like what maybe if I'm like, yeah, no, it's definitely a red herring, or is it definitely like more of a plot twist?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, what is a red herring? A red herring is a false clue, something that misleads us from the larger question or mystery at hand. I was trying to find like the origin of where that comes from, and there's like two things that are very different from one another.
It's probably like Greek or Roman.
No, it's actually
everything comes from.
It's a fish, right?
Yeah.
And basically, the thing that I think makes the most sense is that essentially, it's like a way in which hunters used to train their dogs into to like find something. So like if you're trying to hunt for a duck, right? They would essentially like train you. They would essentially train the dog with like a duck and the red herring, and then they would essentially like have them go together in like a kind of like a squiggly line, and then eventually they would throw the fish over to the right, and then have the duck go left. And if the dog followed the fish, then that means that he got mixed up with the red herring, and he didn't like wasn't able to fully find the duck.
Gotcha.
And like that was it. And then there was also something with like Napoleon. This guy apparently like wrote something about like, oh, there was like a thing about Napoleon like losing the war, and it wasn't actually true, but like it got printed, and then he called it like a red herring. But that, I don't know. That was like, I don't know about that.
I feel like a fun one would have been like if fishers were trying to like catch salmon, because like they're like that pinkish color, and then like they pull them out of the water and it's a red herring. Because it's red, and it's like the sea has tricked me. I will be back tomorrow.
They're just pirates.
Like just dumps them back in. No fish for us tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
So that being said, Zach, by the way, I have like 3, 6. I have like 8. 8 or 9.
Oh,
and I don't know which ones I'm going to choose yet. So we're just going to kind of shoot off the hip here.
Well, that's fine, because I have my normal 5, and then I put like 3 like honorable mentions.
I wonder if we have any overlapping.
One of them I know for sure.
Don't wave your finger.
I'm gonna wave like I'm gonna say that I have one honorable mention that is one of your picks, and that's why I didn't pick it.
Okay.
First one though.
Yeah.
The Nihilists from The Big Lebowski, 1998.
Yeah.
Peter Stormare still fucking like freaks me out that he was like the leader of the Nihilists.
Yeah.
But I immediately was like, oh, that's like a perfect one, because the entire time of like the story, you're thinking like, oh, the Nihilists captured Bunny, and like that's where the Big Lebowski is trying to like find the dude and then get the money and then give them to them, so then that way they can get back Bunny. And then it's like at the end that you find out that the Nihilists really didn't have anything to do with it.
Right.
They were just like, oh, we kind of see an opportunity. Let's see if we can get some money out of them.
Yeah.
Like to go so far as to like cut off one of the girlfriend's toes. Then to be revealed that Bunny basically just captured herself because she just wanted to go out on like a fling.
Yeah.
So that was always like one that I was like, oh, that's funny, because like this entire movie, you're like, oh, it's the Nihilists. We have to find the Nihilists.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they did not have anything to do with it.
Shout out Coen Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. So my first one is a bit of a unique one, because it's not a red herring within it. So it is a red herring within a film, but it's more of a red herring within casting for a film.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk about, I've said this a bunch, and but I felt like this is like the appropriate time to really kind of expand on it a little bit, which is the red herring that Drew Barrymore was going to be in the Scream movie, but in reality, she doesn't make it past page 15.
Yes.
Fuck you, Wes Craven, but also you're amazing, Wes Craven.
She's on the cover too for some of them.
She is not only on the cover, she is in front on the cover.
Yes.
And she has the biggest name on for like all the actors. It's like her name is the biggest one.
Yes.
So like it's so funny that even in casting a movie, you can do a red herring where everybody's like, "Oh my god, Drew Barrymore is going to be in this movie. She's like the biggest star right now, and she's going to be in a horror movie, and it's a Wes Craven film. Like this is going to be amazing." And then
she's going to be the new lead role.
Yeah, and then she has the balls to kill her off.
Yeah.
On page 15.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I just think that it's so perfect because you really do believe that you're going to follow her. Like she is the first person that you see in the movie, and you follow her for like 15 minutes, and you're like, this is the lead of the movie. And then nope, she dies.
And then you get Sydney.
It's perfect.
Yeah. I was gonna save it to the end, but like you already mentioned Scream, like my red herring was in a sense like the entire cast of like
everybody
Scream
in
one.
Yeah, because you don't know who the hell is.
Because I just recently like watched it.
Did you watch the newest one?
Oh God, no.
It's pretty good. Well, so wait, so I'm actually, I don't know if we're recording this, if like the new one came out. I think they're
the 6.
I don't know. I don't even. Dude, there's so many.
I think it came out already. The 6th
the 2023 one.
Yeah, that already came out.
Okay, so then I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the one
5?
previous, the one that came out before it that like kind of revamped the whole series again.
With 3 killers.
Dude, it was pretty good.
Was it?
It was pretty good.
Because this,
I think it was 2022 that came out.
Yeah,
that one.
2021.
Yeah,
like
that one. Whatever that one was. It wasn't bad. It was super meta. Like they really kind of like got they went back to basics and they were like, let's make it super fucking meta. And they bring back like Dewey and like the original cast, and it's really. I was like, you know what? I'm having a real good time with this, and the kills are pretty great.
Yeah, because I heard like the newest one, 6, was not that good.
The new one.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, so I can't speak to that.
I heard
but
it was not.
the one that came out last year, I was pretty. I had a really good time with it.
I recently, mainly because of this, like red herrings, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I want to talk about Scream because like most of the movie is a red herring, but like I haven't seen it in a while, so it's like I need to familiarize myself with it.
Yeah,
and it's like.
So you rewatched it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
And that's why I was literally thinking about like Drew Barrymore being like only in it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was weird because it's like right off the bat you can kind of be like, oh, it's Billy. Like Billy's obviously the killer.
Yeah.
Because he's just so weird. Also, real name Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah. Yep.
Who was mad at that boy?
We need a name. We need a name. I don't know. Fucking Skeet.
But yeah. So like you go throughout this entire film, and it's like you're kind of under the impression that it is Billy, and then it gets to the point where it's like he drops the phone, and it's like okay, it's Billy, and then he gets taken in, and then you get like the same phone call to Sydney, and you're like okay, maybe it's not Billy.
Yeah.
And then you get like at the party where like Billy gets like stabbed.
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's definitely not Billy then. And then he comes down the stairs and then shoots the other friend. And you're like, okay, it is Billy. But it was this kind of like, and I don't think I give the original Scream enough credit.
You don't like, you just.
I liked it, but like I never.
Dude, the original Scream is so good.
That's the thing is like I always was like, oh, I like it, but like it's not like the top like slasher film.
No, it really is like top 5.
It is.
It's so good.
And that's why like after watching it again, I'm like, man, like the original Scream is like so good.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like how they really were going like meta with it of being like, oh, all these other slasher films that have come out, like let's make a slasher film. And then even too like the second one where it's like they made the movie called Stab based off of the killings. Like, that's just fun writing. But yeah, then the red herring whole thing of like Billy isn't the killer. And then you find out that it is him along with like the other guy that is Shaggy. I forgot his name in the movie. And that was like a big twist at the time too of like
Matthew
there's
Lillard. I can't think of his name in the movie, but Matthew Lillard.
Like
Scoop.
like but yeah, like that was always like one of the best red herrings to me was the fact of like Billy being the killer, not being the killer.
Yeah. Okay. So I spoke about this movie somewhat recently. I think not on the last episode, but maybe an episode beforehand. But I just rewatched it and it's kind of just been like stuck in my head, and I feel like I can justify this as a red herring, which is the Green Knight is sort of a red herring in the movie The Green Knight, because
he doesn't really murder.
Well, he isn't. Yes, he isn't actually like a bad guy, right? And the whole movie isn't about the Green Knight. Like you're being led to believe that the Green Knight is the main objective here, and it's really not. The main objective is the journey.
Yes.
Right? We've said this before.
It's not about the destination.
It's about the journey. And like, yes, that is, tried and true and maybe a little tiresome a little bit, but it is, there is accuracy to it. And like for Gawain, however you want to say his freaking name.
Yes.
He is just like a lost guy. He doesn't have any stories to tell, essentially, and he's like, I'm not a knight. I have no stories and whatnot. And like the whole thing is the Green Knight shows up, and like it's like, oh, he needs to go defeat the Green Knight. He needs to go kill him, or he needs to actually let the Green Knight land a blow on him. But that's not really what the point of the film is. The point of the film is that he needs to go on this journey to become a real kind of man and come home with these stories to tell, so that he is, when he inevitably becomes king, like he is a worthy king. So like that journey of him and like all of those tests that happen to him, that's the real point of the film, not the Green Knight. The Green Knight is just a means to an end, essentially. And I think that I would consider him a red herring, even though he's green.
I get it. I put him more in like a metaphor category.
He's a green. He's
a green.
He's a green herring.
Yeah. He's a green herring.
Yeah.
He's like the jolly green giant.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you that one.
Okay, thanks.
I joked with you about it, like
you were like, I'm probably gonna do
the music
Chinatown.
What, Chinatown?
Yeah, because you were like, I'm gonna do the water for Chinatown.
Oh yeah.
The water. I mean, the water from Chinatown.
The water pollution or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, no, I did the Music Man from Under the Silver Lake.
Okay, so that was the other joke.
Yeah,
that you made.
Jeremy Bolt. It just kind of fits so perfectly. It's like, and I get it. The movie is like cracked out weird.
It is.
I kind of like it. I still think it is like a weird type of film. But the whole idea of like, I forget his name, but Andrew Garfield's character, like going down like this crazy rabbit hole, like trying to find out like what the hell happened to Sarah, like where is she, like what is the conspiracy about her, and then uncovering like this bigger thing about LA, and then meeting the Music Man and being like, oh, he made basically every song that was ever popularized. like it was all him. Like he wrote everything.
He wrote "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Yeah, which that one hurt me a little bit. But yeah, to like even do like stuff like that, like anti-establishment songs. Yeah. It's like, oh, it still was the establishment that made it. And then for Andrew Garfield to be like, yeah, but where's Sarah? And he's like, I have no idea. And it's like all of these things led to like the Music Man, but he had like nothing to do with like his main objective.
Right.
Like you thought the entire time that like if he meets him, then we'll find out where Sarah is. And it's literally just like, nope, I control basically. I'm kind of like the government's music guy.
Yeah.
and then he has to go backtrack and try to figure out like what happened again.
Yeah.
But not before bashing his head in with a guitar.
With the guitar, yeah. That was a good scene.
Yeah, that was a good scene.
I appreciate that scene.
That was like one of the only scenes you liked in that movie.
I always appreciate some good gore. I'll give you props when props are due. And when you smash someone's face in with a guitar, you get props.
Yeah.
Especially when you make it practical.
Oh yeah,
practical
that's a
effects.
good one.
I'm all about
bullshit.
it. I don't know. I'm trying to like read through which ones I want to choose here. All right, I'm gonna choose a movie that I've spoke about a lot, and I really like it, and I didn't appreciate it the first time that I saw it, and it's really, really grown on me a lot. Um, I want to talk about K
Yep,
from Blade Runner 2049.
that was my honorable mention because I knew you were gonna pick it.
Yeah,
Not being the chosen one.
not being the chosen one.
Kind of
Hurts.
a fun blow.
Yeah, I mean, you're following him throughout this entire film, and you believe so much that he is Deckard's child and that he is, like destined to be great.
Yeah, you got the implanted memory of like what the horse, I think, like in the mines.
Yeah, yep, and yeah, you have like the toy, and yeah, it's like you think that he is going to be like revolutionary, and nope.
No.
It's one character that you saw for 5 minutes and just had no idea. And it's great.
And then all these other people have that same exact memory.
Yeah, and it's like you're just another one, and you're nothing. You're literally worthless. And it hurts so much.
Because you're with him for this like 2.5 hour time period.
Yeah, and like his death is so, it sucks so much. And like you feel like it needs to be worth something, but it's really just not.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, like it is kind of worth something because he brought Deckard to her.
He brought them together, but like at the end of the day, she was destined to do this no matter what.
Yeah.
Like she was the chosen one.
Yes.
And whether or not I think that happened, she would have done what she has to do anyway. So like he brought them together, and like, there's that sense of family that happens, but like his death is kind of worthless, and it sucks so much.
Because you want better for like being with him this entire time.
Yeah, and you want him to be the one. You want him to be, because you're uncovering all this bullshit in this world, and he's the one uncovering it, and you're like, yes. And then he's just like, no. And it's just like,
yeah,
you got me.
I know.
So, yeah, Kay being a red herring as like the chosen child is just, it's great.
Okay. Possibly one of the best red herrings in a film is the mother is not the killer in 1960s Psycho.
So is that a red herring or is that a twist?
I gave you a pass on like on the Green Knight.
But the Green Knight is not a twist.
It is well, no. This is a red herring because
just like you just
no, this
just completely defaulted and just went back. No, wait a minute, fuck you.
This is a red herring.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's more of a twist ending than a red herring. I would argue, I would make the argument for Psycho that the money that she steals, what's her name?
Yeah, because like. That's actually a good point, because like the first half of the film is like a completely different story where it's like you're assuming that it's going to be her throughout this entire thing, and then she gets murdered, and then it's like, oh, the sister has
Marion, right? That's her name. Marion. Yeah, I would say that is more of a red herring than the mother. I think that would kind of more clarify as a twist ending than a red herring.
Well, here's my proposition. So
lay it all out.
Yeah. So the idea that like from that iconic murder scene of like wearing the dress and like opening the curtain and like stabbing her, you're kind of on this trail with like Anthony Perkins' character of Norman Bates, where you're feeling like something's off, like he feels like sheltered, but like he's too sweet of a guy. And I'm trying to be in the mindset of like, this is the first time I've ever watched Psycho. Not that like I've heard everything else about it beforehand and then watched it like the 6 times that I have. So it's like going off that of like, oh, he is just like this sweet guy, and that his mother is constantly like plaguing him of like these things, and that like the mom is the one that is like telling him to like, oh, we need to get rid of them. Like, I'll do it myself. And then to come to find out that it's actually Norman Bates, and he's got like this split personality of the mother, because the mother's been dead for like 10 years.
Right. All of this is justifying why it's a twist.
I think it can fall into a red herring category.
I don't know. I think there is something interesting though about the briefcase and the money, because like Norman doesn't even know about the money, and he ends up submerging the car in the lake with the money in the trunk and has no idea about it, and then it just dies out.
Yeah.
I think that would be more of a red herring. But all right, you gave me the pass on the Green Knight, even though they're not really the same thing. I'll give you one pass on this.
I'm also going to take credit for that briefcase thing. That's pretty good too.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah. You could also make the argument too, like I said with Drew Barrymore, about fucking the lead actress who plays Marion. What's her name? Something Lee.
Yes.
She gets killed off. That she was a really big actress back in the day, and it was like, oh, she's the star, and then she gets killed off halfway through the movie, and then you're following somebody else.
Yes, Susan,
so
I think.
Similar. It's what's her name's mom?
Whitney.
No, I can't think of her name.
Wendy. We did it recently.
Yeah, we did, but she just won for Everywhere All at Once. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Jamie Lee
Curtis's mom.
Oh, right, yeah.
She's kind of a red herring as like in casting as well, similar to like Drew Barrymore. So there's a few red herrings in Psycho. Okay, cool. I don't even know what I'm on, so whatever. My next one is going to be. I wanted to talk about. We haven't discussed this film yet, but you saw it and I saw it, and we both thought it was pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. I want to talk about The Menu. And the red herring being the dinner.
You know what's funny? The more that like I think about it, the more I think I really like The Menu.
I feel the same way. I just like the thing is the movie really took its time with just the amount of food coming out.
I like that. I like that the most out of it.
And like I guess for me personally, I'm thinking that I know that this movie's going to get crazy. Like, I know that some shit's about to go down. And I didn't even know what the movie was actually fully about until I watched it. And I'm waiting for it to get crazy. And it just takes so long for it to get crazy. I feel like if you don't know that this is kind of like a thriller.
Yeah. You're kind of just thinking this is a cooking movie.
Well, not even that. It's just an enjoyable kind of like satire, and you're like, okay, I'm in it, and like it's great. But knowing that the movie's gonna get nuts, and like they just spend so much time with the dinner, I was kind of getting a little antsy. I was like, I really kind of just want somebody to fucking die.
That's the thing. Is like I like that the most out of the movie. Like I like that it's like the dinner scenes and like explaining like what's in each dish.
Yeah. To each their own, Zachary. But anyway, I think that the dinner is pretty much a red herring. Like you're getting brought along onto this island because it's like you are going to experience the greatest meal that you've ever experienced in your entire life. And this chef has been working for decades on crafting these perfect menus, and he grows all of his food, and all of the meat and everything is like is grown perfectly, and it's like perfectly ripe, and yes, he's kind of a jerk, but like you've kind of made him that way, which is like what the movie ends up kind of being. Yeah. But it's really good that if you don't know about the menu and you don't realize that there's a twist, and you're sort of just sitting there and you're like, oh, okay, like there's a menu and this guy, he's kind of like a Gordon Ramsay type, and he's like treating his people like garbage and whatnot, and he's screaming at them. He's like, yes, chef, and all of that. Like,
it's frozen.
It's really cool that you're able to take this concept of, hey, the movie is about food, and it is, but it's really not.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
Yeah. You could also argue, too, that, like, about Anya Taylor-Joy's...
Margot, yeah. Margot is kind of a red herring because she's not the girlfriend.
Yeah, she's not supposed to be there.
She's an escort.
Ah.
Ooh.
My last pick.
Yes.
I kind of...
Was that my last pick? Oh, no, I have one more.
Yeah, you have one more.
Okay.
And then I have honorable mentions, I guess. But you took one of mine, so...
Ouch.
I stab you in the heart after this episode. So my last one, I kind of, like, we never did it. I kind of, like, talked to you slightly about this movie, like, off camera. And I was like...
We talk off camera?
We do. Oh, it's not just on this, and then we just power off for a week.
Yeah.
So there was a 2021 movie called All My Friends Hate Me.
Yes. Never saw this.
I think it's worth a shot, like checking it out. The character Harry, played by Dustin Demery. You go through, like, you kind of are led to believe, and I don't want to like spoil like everything in case you do want to watch it.
Yeah,
but,
don't spoil it, Zach.
Yeah,
be a pal.
I'll be a pal. So the idea is that like Pete is going to.
You just said it was Harry.
No. Well, yeah, but like,
Who's Pete?
Harry is the red herring.
Okay.
But the story is about Pete.
Okay.
So Pete is going like away for the weekend to like one of his old like friends like parents' house, and he hasn't seen any of his friends in like 6-7 years.
Lock and change in 6 or 7 years.
Exactly. That's pretty much it. And then he kind of comes across like this, like on his way there, he gets a little lost. He finds like this beat up car and like this homeless man, and like goes to like check on him. And then like the homeless man like runs out and like starts chasing him. And then he gets there and he starts to kind of like make conversation with like his friends again. Like it's kind of like awkward at first. And then this guy Harry shows up. That they say they just met like at the pub like a couple of hours ago, and something seems like really off about him. And if you do want to watch it, I don't want to spoil like everything then, but like the entire time you're kind of thinking that like he is the reason, like the catalyst for like making all of his friends like turn on him. Okay. And in fact, like he's something completely different. Again, that's vague because you want to watch it. But like, if you have seen
then
All My
you
Friends
know what
Hate
I'm
Me,
talking about.
You know what I'm
wink,
talking
wink.
about here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Cool. All right.
I liked it. I don't think it's anything to do the podcast over, but like,
Ooh.
Ouch. It is.
We only talk about the greatest of cinema here.
Yeah, like Ratatouille.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I like Ratatouille a lot.
Oh man, what's gonna be my last choice? What do I wanna really highlight? I think that one kind of falls under more of a twist. All right,
You're just like outwardly thinking.
Yeah. All right.
No, this one's gonna offend Zach.
So this one I only picked because last year I watched all of them. You know what I'm talking about?
Are you picking Sirius Black from Prisoner of Azkaban?
I am seriously picking Sirius Black.
That was my other honorable mention because I figured you would pick that.
Good. It's great.
Gary Oldman, man.
Gary Oldman playing a lunatic psycho who is kind of being pinned as this completely unhinged, murderous boy man.
Boy man.
That is trying to kill Harry Potter.
I said, boy man, leave me alone.
He's a boy. He's a man. He's boy man.
Dun, 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 dun.
So it's great.
Yeah, because
the thing is, dude, Harry Potter, there's all like even Sirius Snape is kind of a red herring because he's like kind of led to believe like he's evil and he's kind of a jerk, but in reality, he's actually not.
Yeah, he was actually all along kind of protecting Harry.
Yeah,
and, like just didn't want him to know.
Yeah, but yeah, the kind of like revelation that Sirius Black is not evil and they end up like working together is just it's so good.
Yeah, because then you find out that like he was like. What, he's his uncle, Harry's uncle, I think?
Dude, I don't remember. I watched all of them in like a week.
Oh, yeah.
Or I watched all of them over the course. I think I watched one a week for like 8 weeks.
That's a lot of Harry.
This is a lot. So I started
but they continuously get better.
They do. I just wish Voldemort was better.
Yeah.
He's silly at the end. He's just not that good.
The boy who lived.
Come to die.
Yeah, and then
it's great. That part's really great. Yeah. But then he's like, I'm and he's just like a cartoon character at the end, which is pretty disappointing.
And then it's a 5-minute fight, and then it's over.
Yeah, and it's just not like you're building this guy up to be like the greatest fucking wizard ever, and he's kind of whack.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but anyway, Sirius Black is a really cool red herring.
Yeah.
So I ended up mentioning your other red herrings, huh?
2 of them. I had one more.
Oh, go ahead.
My other honorable mention was the ghost woman in The Wailing. Do you remember that movie that we did for?
Yeah, it was the Korean or Japanese horror with the devil in the camera.
Yes,
I like that movie a lot.
Me too.
It's freaky.
Yeah. It's cool, but remember, like, she was the red herring where it's like, oh, she's actually, like, the evil spirit. And
that brought, like, with the crows and stuff, right?
Yes,
yeah.
And that, like, if you go over, like, that seal, then, like, you won't be able to turn back. But then, like, the main character saw, like, I think it was, like, the hair clip of the daughter and was like, oh, no, you're actually the evil one. And then crossed over, but, like, really, she just needed, like, something to hold on to protect her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good movie. I like that one.
Yeah, it's good. I have a few honorable mentions. I'm not gonna dwell on them too much. The one that I kind of wanted to dwell on a little bit was in Todd Phillips' Joker film. You have Sophie, who like
Oh yeah.
it's like he thinks that that's his girlfriend and it's
Yeah.
just not. But the only reason why I didn't really include that one because that almost feels like a little bit more of like a twist. And then the other one too that feels more of like a twist than a red herring is I spoke about this movie to you once. You've never seen it, called The Others, which is you get like that reveal at the end. Like the whole movie is like a haunted house film, and then it turns out that the people that you've been following are actually the ghosts,
Oh,
and
right,
they
right, yeah.
are doing the haunting.
Yeah, you told me about that.
That's really cool. But I was like, I don't know if that's kind of in the more of a twist than a red herring. I think it's more of a twist.
I know.
And I would say that your Psycho pick was more of a twist, but it's okay, Zach.
Yeah.
We're not perfect.
We
Not
can't all have wins.
no.
We can't all have giant penises like you.
Zach, I have a recommendation.
Yes.
So I was looking. You may have noticed a piece of jewelry on my finger that is new.
I know. You're not wearing your usual like gold pinky
My
ring.
gold pinky ring with the F in it.
Yeah. For farts.
Yeah.
It's a reminder. Oh, I haven't farted yet today.
So this is called the Aura Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan.
It's a big ring.
Because it's got technology in it. It's not just a ring.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that like tracks my sleep, my
Oh.
heart rate, my temperature.
Mm-hmm.
It tells me, it gives me like a readiness score. So essentially, like it'll be like, hey, you did this much activity yesterday, and you got this much sleep last night. So like depending on dude, this thing is like crazy detailed. I mean, it literally tells me my blood oxygen saturation levels.
Oh my.
It tells me how long it took me to fall asleep, how many hours of REM sleep that I got, how much time I spent in bed versus actually asleep. It tells me my resting heart rate. It tells me like, hey, your heart rate is, I think roughly I'm like 56 beats per minute when I'm sleeping. And like sometimes if it drops a little bit lower, it'll be like, hey, your heart rate dropped a little bit lower. That means that you probably didn't recover as well that you could have. So like, hey, and then you wake up and you get all of these things that it encapsulates, and it gives you like a readiness score. And it'll be like, hey, today it's like from 0 to 100. And it's like, okay, you're in like the mid 70s. It's like, maybe take it easy today. Like you didn't really have a great night's sleep. You worked out really hard yesterday. So like maybe today's a good day to like relax. Or like it'll be like, hey, your readiness score is like 90. It's like you got great sleep and your activity was really good, but you recovered really well from all that sleep. So like you're ready to go and like you can do something whatever today and like, do something athletic or whatever. So it's like, it's really, really cool. And I'm finding it like I'm relying on it a lot. I really enjoy like checking the app and being like, oh, how did I sleep last night? And I've had it for a few days and I got it for like a mean discount because I was literally like looking at this ring online.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's like $300.
Oh my God.
For the ring. But I don't pay full price for shit.
Yeah.
So like I literally happened to be I happened to mention it to my girlfriend. And I was like, yo, there's kind of like this ring that I want. I think it's kind of cool. It like tracks everything and blah blah blah. And she's like, I think they have that at Habitat for Humanity. And I was like, what? And she was like, hold on. And she like went on the website and they had it for like half off.
Oh.
Right? And I was like, oh, it's like $150, right? And it was brand new in the box, never used. I was like, this is crazy. So I went there and I'm like, all right. I'm like, the odds of it being here, truly being like, $150 and also fitting me because, it's a ring size. So like the odds of it actually being the right size for my finger, I was like, it's not going to work out. I tried it on. I was like, it fits perfectly great. I was like, I got to buy it.
Yeah.
So I really, really enjoy this ring. And I really, I've been really getting more into like my health and fitness this year. So it's a lot less cumbersome than a watch, like a fitness watch.
Yeah, because that's all I've ever seen is like fitness watches, or like I know that people have like the bands now that like
but apparently those aren't nearly as accurate. Like because it's going through like the top of your wrist, which I guess is not nearly as accurate than your finger.
Yeah. Because of the blood flow.
Yeah, and everything with it. So yeah, I really, really like this ring. And I think that you also don't have to charge it nearly as much. It lasts like this thing can last like up to a week on one charge. without any problem. So like for it to be the one thing that I hate about fitness like watches and stuff is that's another thing to charge.
Yeah,
but this thing takes like 20 minutes to charge on all the way back up to full, and then it lasts like a week. So like there isn't that you're not going to get like a lot of times people struggle with like having to take off their watch and charge it for a few hours. So then you have like a big gap of time that you weren't able to track. Like this is like 20 minutes. So it's not nearly as long as a gap. And it's not nearly as annoying to wear. Like I don't love to wear watches when I sleep at night.
Yeah.
But this, I don't even feel it. So big fan of this.
Yeah. That's weird. Because like for me, like rings, watches, like necklaces, can't wear them to sleep. Like I need to take them all off.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one's different, obviously, because I'm wearing it for like a specific purpose. But I don't even feel it at night. You know, it's just like one of those things that it's so like non-evasive and it's not nearly the size of a wristwatch.
Yeah.
And it's just great. So I really like this ring. I would recommend it. I think that it's great.
People won't hit on you then.
Well, it's on my right hand, so I'm still.
I think that's like an engagement thing then.
I don't know. I can also switch it to my pointer if I really want to.
So you can get hit on.
I can get hit on. If I'm like, you know what, we're going out today, boys. So Zach, I have two films that I don't know which one I want to choose.
Okay.
So
flip a coin.
I have one I have basically 1 and 2. So I want you to just select a number between 1 and 2.
8.
Well, not between 1 and 2, because that would be 1.5.
Oh.
But choose either 1 or 2, and we're gonna do both of these films. Like these are gonna be my next choice, but you're gonna choose which one we do first.
8.
No.
1.
1?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do a movie called The Square by Ruben Ostland.
Okay.
So look forward to that. Zach, take us out.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Now, Frank, roll the credits.